Are you familiar with the term Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law, you know, the idea that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to share a story that I actually had a vacation of Murphy's Law, and I'm going to help you be able to use this in context and in a sentence in this video. Let's go. Hey there, English speakers. Jesse here from Sweed Academy, helping you get your English to the next level. People ask me all the time, how do I become fluent in English? How do I improve my English? Well, the number one way to improve your English and your English fluency is learn these idioms, fixed expressions, phrasal verbs, collocations, all of these natural expressions to help you sound and use English more naturally. And today we're talking about Murphy's Law. You know, like I said in the opening, Murphy's Law is the idea of anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? It's kind of like a disaster scenario. We've all had those situations, right? Maybe at a job or on a date. Those are the worst. But this particular case happened when I was on vacation last week. So let's start at the beginning. When I was on vacation, the beginning of the vacation, well, actually, before the vacation started, I had to take some time off work. And I said, yeah, all of my weeks of work are the same. It doesn't really matter which days I take off. As it turns out, it just so happened by luck or unluck that this was not the ideal week to take off work. So that was strike one. We got on the airplane and flew to Valencia in Spain, which that's cool. And when we arrived, we got to our apartment that we rented. It was kind of in it looked like it was kind of a rough part of town. It looked like it was kind of a bad part of town. It actually wasn't, but it looked like that on first glance. Even as soon as we arrived near our hotel, there was a big sign, or actually vandalism, spray painted on the wall. Tourists, you are not welcome. And then it was kind of covered up with very. But that's how we started out. And we didn't have the keys because the agency hadn't opened yet. So we were kind of stuck at like 7 a.m. in the morning. Then, as we were walking down this cobblestone street, which if you don't know what cobblestone streets are, they are like the streets that we have here. They're like the bumpy kind of roads that, well, they're essentially stones or bricks that are in the street. And I was wheeling my mother-in-law's suitcase because we were borrowing a suitcase from her, and the wheel breaks off. Great. Off we go. Then we finally get our keys for our apartment, and we get in after having a little breakfast. The breakfast place was good. And we get in our apartment. The apartment, it wasn't that nice. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. But we had already had these events happen so far. So great. Then we go about our day, have a nice first day, you know, see some stuff, have some meals, things like that. By the way, Valencia was more expensive than I was expecting, so our budget was a little off too. The first night at like 3 in the morning, I get up and I feel this rumbling in my stomach. And I run to the bathroom and I throw up. To throw up means to vomit. It's a phrasal verb. It means to vomit. Then I go back to bed. About an hour or two later, I hear my wife get up. And I think she's going to the bathroom or whatever, normal. And then I hear her throw up. Oh my goodness, what happened? And then it just got worse from there. Because it turns out I was fine after that, but it ended up being the flu or something. She had a terrible fever. She was throwing up more all day, headaches, things like that. Then that moved on to our kids. One kid, and then our other kid started throwing up, and they had fevers the whole trip. So here we have all three, my wife, my son, my daughter, all with a fever in this place that we're not very comfortable right now. Things aren't working out as we planned or as we wanted. And it's just one thing after another. One thing after another. One thing after another. This is an example of something to learn to help your fluency. It was just one thing after another. And it just kept going on and on and on until we were just kind of waiting for the trip to end. What a terrible mindset for a vacation to be. But then on the final night, I took my son for a walk in a stroller to put him to sleep. And I got to have some time and explore the city by myself. And it turned out it was a very beautiful city. Let me see. The nice thing about having a camera is I can see if cars are coming. But it was a very beautiful city. I actually recommend seeing Valencia. It was a nice city. I just wish we were there under better conditions and it wasn't such a Murphy's Law trip. But how about you? Have you had any Murphy's Law experiences, whether it's on a date or a job interview, a first day at work? You know, it's kind of a situation we're all familiar with, and now you know the term in English. It's probably similar to your language, but let me know in the comments below. By the way, if you're an English teacher, you'll be very interested in this. I'm starting to upload lesson ideas and lesson plans for you to use in the classroom. I'm doing those on Mondays so you can have a lesson for the week. So be sure, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell. It will be worth it. And follow me on Instagram, Sweed Academy. And I'm here reminding you that you already know English. I know this. Now let's communicate.